What's up, everyone? It's your old school expert, and today I'm opening up something very old school. This is a starter deck Kaiba, still in the wrapper. There is no box to it. That's the way I bought it, and I bought it to open it and just probably sleeve it up and then have a starter deck Kaiba ready for, you know, like old school duels or whatever. So it's not first edition. If it was, I'd probably keep it sealed. But it's unlimited, so let's open it up and enjoy the nostalgia. If I can get this tab open. I actually never bought a starter deck Kaiba. I never bought starter deck Yugi either. I wasn't really into the starter decks. I liked the packs, the LOB packs, because it was, you know, random chance. You never knew what you were going to get. Whereas with the starter decks, you knew exactly what you were going to get. So, of course, the first card is Blue Eyes White Dragon. Epic card. Different artwork than the LOB one, obviously. This is the one that's used in the anime, and it's the original first artwork that they ever made for the anime. So there you go, Blue Eyes White Dragon. This is in good condition. Looks like there's a little ding up there, a couple dings. So probably not like a PSA candidate, but it's in nice condition overall. So that's nice to have. We got Flute of Summoning Dragon. This card was used quite a bit in the very, very early days of Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot of people were using this in Lord of D because Lord of D had to get errated because it said all dragon type monsters cannot be targeted. Oh, okay, this is the errated version, I believe. I think the original one said that all dragon type monsters cannot be destroyed by like spells and traps and stuff. So it was a really strong deck, like dragon deck. So people would run 3 Blue Eyes, 3 Lord of D, and 3 Flute of Summoning Dragon. And there wasn't much to counter it, because at that time it was only cards that were in LOB or starter deck Kaiba and starter deck Yugi. And of course, tournament pack. Then we have a Skull Redbird. Got a Gyaku Tenno Megami. There we go, Megami. Reverse Trap. So it's kind of good. All increases and decreases to attack and defense are reversed for the turn that this is activated. So this was good against like equip cards. Dark Titan of Terror. That's a really cool card. Some of this stuff I don't think has ever really been reprinted. Like I'm not sure if this has ever been reprinted. We got Ogre of the Black Shadow. And that one may not also have a reprint. Really cool artwork on this stuff. Monster Reborn, of course, the LOB version was out when this came out, but this made it very easy to get, and of course it was a staple. That's why it's banned still, although it could probably be at 1. I don't see it being that much of a nuisance. The Wicked Worm Beast, pretty terrible card. This card is return your hand at the end of your turn, and it's just weak. Level 3, 1400 attack, 700 defense. There's really no reason to use this, even back then. Ryukishin Powered, one of the better cards in this back in the day. Invigoration, you can equip it to a Earth Monster. Gains 400 attack and it loses 200 defense. But who cares about defense, right? 2-pronged attack, one of the most terrible cards today at least. Back then it was still pretty bad, but I mean you could use it a little bit. It's just like a -2 for you. Because you lose this card, and then you have to destroy 2 monsters of your own just to destroy one of your opponent's monsters. And it's monsters, not cards. So it's pretty terrible card. Pale Beast, one of the better cards in here, came out in Metal Raiders also. So did Skull Redbird. Remove Trap. This was pretty useful before Mystical Space Typhoon was out. This was one of the better ways to get rid of a trap card. And of course it had to be a face-up trap card, so continuous. But there were a few out there. Unknown Warrior of Fiend. Pretty cool. Kojikasi. I think that's how you say it, Kojikasi. This guy came out in Metal Raiders also. Rude Kaiser. Really cool card. I want to say this has a reprint, but I don't know if it does. And if it does, I'm not sure what set. But it was not a very good card because it required a tribute, and he only got 1800 attack when you could just use Summon Skull out of Yugi's deck or Metal Raiders. And 1 tribute for 2500 attack. So we got Ultimate Offering. This card I believe is still banned and probably should stay that way. It's a really good card. It's pretty nasty. You pay 500 life points, you get another normal summon. Fissure. This was really useful because Dark Hole was at 1 and Raigeki was at 1, and that was pretty much your only ways to destroy monsters with magic cards, or in this case spell cards, because this is a reprinted deck, so it says spell card. But anyways, yeah, this card was used all the way up until like the release of pretty much like Magic Ruler. That's when you started seeing less fissures around, because you could use like Axe of Despair to just run over your opponent's monster. Komori Dragon. Trap Master, another one of the better cards back then. You just flip and destroy a trap card. If it's face down, flip it face up. If it's a trap, it's destroyed. If it's a spell card or a magic card, you put it back down. Ancient Telescope, not really a good card. Top 5, save the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck, return them in the same order, so it's kind of, it's alright. It was alright back then. Swordstalker, this was a decent card. Reinforcements, this was used, saw some use until Rush Recklessly came out. Rush Recklessly was way better than this, so this kind of stopped seeing any use. But until Magic Ruler, this was definitely used by some people. Battle Ox, one of the better cards. Mystic Horseman. Rogue Doll. Dark Hole, there you go. So that's one of the staples of the old school decks, because it was so hard to summon monsters that when they got destroyed, it was a big deal. So Dark Hole, Raigeki were a huge deal back then. Once your opponent played it, it was like, damn, you know, you spent all this time getting 2 monsters you tribute for your blue eyes, and then they, you know, trap hole it or they dark hole it. So that stuff was at 1, at least Dark Hole was. Mystic Clown, Destroyer Golem, the Inexperienced Spy. I always love the artwork. It's just kind of funny. Select and see 1 card in your opponent's hand, so that's kind of cool. Never really saw anyone use it. Castle Walls, didn't really see people use that either. It's just not that good of a card. Mysterious Puppeteer. It's an alright card. Saw that see some play. Terra the Terrible, Urabi, Sogen. So increases what? Warriors, Beast Warriors. Let's see, yeah, just Beast Warrior and Warrior type monsters by 200 points. La Jinn. This card was the reason people bought this deck, at least competitive players. Not necessarily for Blue Eyes, but for La Jinn, the Mystical Genie of the Lamp, because he was the only 4-star, 1800 attack normal monster for a long time. There was Mechanical Chaser in Tournament Pack 1, but that thing was just super, super, super rare. This was like before the internet was a thing. I mean, it was around, but people didn't really buy and sell that many cards on the internet, so it was really difficult to get a Mechanical Chaser. The odds were 1 in 118 packs, I believe, and then even if you did see someone who pulled it, they're probably not going to sell it to you unless you offered at least $100. I mean, now they're still worth that because they're collectible, but back then they were 100, 150 just because they were playable. But this guy was still like $5, even though the deck was only 10. Blue Eyes was like $2 to $3, and then this was like $5. So you may as well just buy the deck because this was used by everybody. Just Desserts. 7-Color Fish, I think, was his counterpart also when Metal Raiders came out. Just Desserts still sees play in like Chain Burn or pretty much any kind of burn. It's a very good card. It inflicts massive damage, especially when your opponent's setting up a pretty big board and they're about to, you know, exceed summon like 3 monsters or whatever. Just chain Just Desserts as 1500 if they have 3 monsters. Dehuman, it's always a weird card to me. Ukazi, another good card that was used in Burn for a long time, probably until Poison of the Old Man came out in Magician's Force, but Ukazi was used for quite a while in Burn decks and was really effective. Not quite as good as Tremendous Fire, but again, Tremendous Fire inflicts 500 damage to yourself. This doesn't damage you at all, it only damages your opponent. Judge Man, that was used quite a bit. 1 tribute for 2200 attack. Second only to Summon Skull for 1 tribute. Vanilla Monsters, you got Dark Assailant. Hain, this was a good card too. Once your opponent gets that Blue Eyes out, you set your Hain and hope he doesn't use Raigeki. Trap Hole, another good card. This was almost every deck had 2 of these. Some ran 3. It was just a really good way to again, with Blue Eyes or Summon Skull, like those big beat sticks, you just set a Trap Hole and wait for them. D-Spell, this was the MST of the day. Twin Twisters, if you will, whatever. This was pretty much the best way until Heavy Storm came out in Metal Raiders. This was the best way to get rid of spell and trap cards. And it's not even that good because destroys one spell card on the field. If this card's target is face down, flip it face up. If the spell card is destroyed, if not, is returned to face down position. So it doesn't destroy traps, only spells. Master and Expert, Ryukishin, Dark Energy, and Hitatsumi Giant. So anyways, guys, I know that was kind of slow. I apologize. That's just so many stories to tell, so much awesome nostalgia in this deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully you guys can find these. They're not too hard to find because this is the reprinted version. That's why there's no box, and it's just it's their spell cards, not magic cards. But anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for more awesome Yu-Gi-Oh videos.